The 2021 Visionary Principal of the Year Secondary Level and New Jersey recipient of the NASSP Principal of the Year Award is Dr. Kwame Morton. Kwame Morton is the principal of Cherry Hill High School West. As a father of 10 children, he knows the importance of being there for each and every student.
We place our children every day in the hands of people that we hope that are partners for us and not strangers to us. As such, it's critically important that our kids are loved. So No Child Left Invisible specifically, I've defined it as such. It means that we will help our children to achieve success as evidenced by the fact that they'll attain an A or a B in every class, or we will provide our kids with multiple opportunities to access that level of success.
Just to know that a child is welcomed, is valued, and has a voice at High School West allows them to not be invisible and makes them extremely important to all of us in all of our work.
We have a district-wide initiative, Student Voice. This idea that our students and our children have voice in our building. And voice means not just that we hear audible sounds coming from them, but that we listen to them, we engage, and we work with them closely, and that when they bring things to us, we act on them.
A small group, I believe it was about 4 or 5 of us, went to another teacher and we worked with a few of her other students to create a website full of resources about mental health as a whole, stress relief, nutrition. We had some yoga tips on there too, so we were able to create that and then send it to all the teachers who could then share it with their classes.
A champion of communication, Kwame Morton built a powerful partnership with the Cherry Hill Police Department to open doors and foster positive relationships.
Several years ago, it occurred to me that many of the problems that were being faced in our country and much of the rhetoric that existed, I thought was harmful and counterproductive. So you think about this idea that police and people of color just have this natural disdain for one another. I know it not to be true. So we intentionally tried to do things to include our local law enforcement into the fabric of the school.
Kwame has nurtured and established a relationship with the chief of police that has paid incredible dividends, that's had the chief, his ranking officers, the men and women who are out on patrol on the streets come here and work out with the students, run with them as a cross-country team, run with them with the track team. And I've heard great stories from the students and from the police, about the challenges and what that meant to do it. But these kids have gotten a chance to know who the police are.
Just to have that camaraderie and that friendship and that comfortability that I feel like our kids can be approached by a Cherry Hill police officer and can approach a Cherry Hill police officer, whether they're here in the building or in the community.
We had several protests last summer after the incident in Minneapolis with George Floyd. I was out on Route 70, observing everything, and a group of people were walking towards me, and I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me, and I recognize the faces, not necessarily the names. And, I see them smiling, and I'm looking at like Cherry Hill West, and I'm like, basketball team. And they're like, yes, So, in that type of high stress situation, the relationships that were built during the programs that we have in place with the school help to de-escalate a potentially volatile situation.
I think many of the problems that we face in this country are from a lack of understanding. It's from ignorance. We just don't know about each other. We don't know enough about one another. And I think if we take the time to take the time to engage and form relationship with even the most unlikely people, that what we'll find is that we have cultural connections that are much deeper than surface level things.
And part of that is because students have questions, especially in the last year. They have questions they want to ask. There are real concerns. There's trauma that our children have experienced because of what's going on in the world. The opportunity for them to ask the police and to ask the chief those questions very directly in the presence of Dr. Morton, who provides that guidance and that support and that calm, has been absolutely phenomenal.
The students, police, and Dr. Morton have also collaborated on a restorative justice program that led to Cherry Hill West becoming a national school of character.
Dr. Morton wanted to come up with this restorative practice program where we hired private contractors. So we hired a yoga teacher and we hired a CrossFit instructor. And in lieu of a normal detention, the student could be assigned to the restorative practice.
What we figured out is that detention doesn't really help any kids when they get it because they just go there or they'll try to skip it and it's not doing anything to benefit them. So for next year and the years after, we're adding more internships to the school so you can do other things like be an intern for somebody in social media work or people who like work on cars so you can have actual real life experiences and that's something you can learn from instead of detention.
It's extremely satisfying. I'm so proud of the relationship that I have with Dr. Morton. If it wasn't for him, none of this would happen.
I wake up every morning excited and optimistic and enthusiastic about coming here and having an opportunity to interact with my students and with my faculty and with my parents. Even the hard days are great days. It's an absolute pleasure. So thank you.